double cup of green tea, I think.
No, it's deep.
Oh, just lost it. No, some stuff, but that's what you learn. Some stuff isn't good.
lived to be 93, and the other two.
They died, I think, 2 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one was Spanish flu
Yeah.
in 1919. Yeah, because then.
And the other one maybe 21, but she didn't say what the person died of. I think it's the girl and the brought her to the hospital in Lisbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And I guess Mary prophesied that.
she did.
Yeah.
Yep. She said, you'll have short lives, but you'll go to heaven.
So I guess that's why so far, did you notice, the two little ones have a halo, and they're saints, and the third one doesn't have a halo. But I noticed that maybe it's not all paintings, but I think it's, I mean, we're all, all our past ones are community of saints, but in the Catholic Church, I think if there's proof that you're in heaven, that you're a saint for sure, right? That's why there is always a miracle associated with a saint,
Right.
which proves they're in heaven, and I guess because Mary said you'll go to heaven, I think, yeah, I saw that in a few paintings, so I have to look again. So maybe that's why they put a halo
I
on.
thought it was only two or 3 years later.
Yeah.
So they were super young.
They were very young.
The youngest was she 7?
I think 5 and 7 and 10.
Yeah, it's the little one who told her mother, and her mother made a joke, mentioned it. Said, don't tell anyone.
Well, you read yesterday that they were put in prison, right, or in custody.
Yeah.
And you thought partially because 1910 the king escaped, right? Because that's when the republic came into being.
They thought the kids were being political.
Yeah, political. That's what Dan's interpreted, because religion and state was separate after that, and now suddenly this crept in again, and so part of it could have been political. And the same with, I think, the apparitions in where the other ones.
Medjugorje.
Medjugorje is also
They thought it was political.
could be too, yeah, because of the struggles between the Christians and the Muslims there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of persecutions of Christians and Catholics in India. Yeah. There was this wave where, well, I know if you become a Christian, you have to sign a paper that it's your conversion, nobody else converted you or told you to convert. But then I think a few years ago there was this rampage where they killed a lot of priests. Or was that in southern India?
Yeah.
A lot of that, because priests are the leaders. So it's interesting how
People in India often want to become Christians because, for one reason, is that there's no caste.
yeah.
Probably want to Protestant and same ballot. So that's why they're again the social ramifications.
Although officially there is no caste system.
I know.
Yeah, but in real life there is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, it's in Canada. We have our own caste systems. We don't.
Oh yeah, sure.
We don't acknowledge them.
That's true. I think that's.
If you're educated or not. Interesting. But in British Columbia, when they're in different social movements that the government doesn't approve of, the ministry will threaten to have children I blend in. I go in the arch in the olive garden. You can't see me.
They're green silver. Look at this, they're coniferous trees. All kinds.
Evergreens that were here.
Yeah. This is quite reforested here.
So contrary to what our cab driver said. You should just never believe anything the cab
These
driver
trees
says.
back here. Where's the, see the silver?
Yeah. It's kind of what they look like,
Go
but
on the road a bit too bushy.
they look kind of more
The
like
road
a
to the
tree, more
right-hand side
normal.
on the distance you to see a castle on the top of the hill, which is Castle of Ouren, O-U-R-E-N, Ouren. Let's see if we can see it. A few minutes you will see it on the right-hand side. It was built in the 12th century by the daughter, it was commissioned by the daughter of Alfonso Enriquez. Alfonso Enriquez was the king who did mainly all the reconquest in this country from the Moors. When the Moors were living here, little by little they were reconquering the country, but it was Alfonso Enriquez, the one who finished with the Arab domination, and he conquered many cities in the country. So this was one of them, Ouren, and when they built that castle was in the 12th century, and in that moment they conquered the city from the Moors. So they knew that the Moors were going to come back to try again to conquer the city. So that's why they built that castle, to protect the population from Arabs' attacks. It's there on the right hand side at the top of the hill. From some parts you see it. Well, in Portugal, as it happens in Spain, we have many castles and also watch towers that you can see always at the top of the rock or at the top of the hills, because the reconquest lasted centuries, more in Spain than here, because in Portugal they finished with the Arab domination in the 12th century, in 1147, so middle of the 12th century. But in Spain the Arabs stayed much longer, 300 years more. So we finished the Arab domination in Spain in 1492, thanks to the Catholic monarchs Isabella and Ferdinand. But not all the castles were built by the Arabs, and many of them were built by the Arabs, but others were built by the Christians, because they knew that the Arabs were going to come back. So today you're going to see the castle in Tomar, from 12th century, worldwide heritage site by UNESCO. It's a huge castle, and we're going to have the opportunity to visit that in a local guide, because of course the castle itself is beautiful, but the history of the castle